Hi, I'm Michelle Thompson, your host for Pecan Pie, and today we're located at 1425 Richland Street at the Inn. And this segment is all about Bakari Sellers. Hi, I would like to introduce everyone to Whitney Vansell today. She is my co-host on Pecan Pie. Whitney, thank you for co-hosting today on Pecan Pie.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I am really excited to learn more about Pecan Pie and Bakari Sellers.
Well, Pecan Pie is a Southern lifestyle web series, and it's about people who we see every day in the news. It can be a political official, it can be a person of interest, a celebrity, but Pecan Pie shows the softer side of the individual. It's about what they're doing when they had downtime. So a person of interest that I had the opportunity to interview was Bakari Sellers.
Okay, so tell us how you prepared for that.
Well, to me, I was like, gee whiz, this is going to be a great interview. So I went back to his roots. I had the opportunity to speak to his father, Cleveland Sellers. He is an icon in the civil rights movement era. And the conversation was so great. He gave me an opportunity to learn more about Bakari, raising him as a young boy into the man that he is today.
So did Bakari have anything to say about his childhood?
I claim Denmark, South Carolina as my home. I was raised there. 3 stoplights and a blinking light. Everyone is family. It's the epitome of what South Carolina is. We didn't have a lot of resources, but we were good because we had good people. And growing up and going to church there every Sunday, and Bible study on Wednesdays, and choir practice when we had one. It was just breaking into the Voorhees College gymnasium to play basketball on the weekends with friends. Denmark was home and always will be home.
One of the things that Cleveland shared with me is that Bakari actually wanted to be a veterinarian. However, something happened with that, and so he wasn't able to pursue that dream.
Well, my allergies are really bad, so being a veterinarian with horrible allergies is very difficult. I still love animals, and I still my stepdaughter and I we have 2 in between teacup and toy Yorkies, and I had a snake growing up. His name a ball python named Hercules, and loved the horseback ride and all of those things. And so I still have that affinity, but my allergies got in the way of me being a successful veterinarian, and God works in mysterious ways. And so I love being here and practicing law.
And he also talked to me about Stokely Carmichael being his godfather. And this is what Bakari had to say.
Okay. Growing up with heroes and sheroes of the civil rights movement all around me was just the most amazing part of my childhood, I believe. Stokely Carmichael, Kwame Ture, who passed away, was someone that we all looked up to. Was my father's best friend in college, and gave him his entree into the civil rights movement. But Julian Bond became a good friend and mentor, and somebody I could lean on and talk to before he passed away. You have the Willie Ricks, Mukasa as he refers to himself now, and the Kathleen Cleavers, and just learning about all of those great individuals, learning that the heart of the civil rights movement were young people, especially women, and thinking about the Fannie Lou Hamers and the Ella Bakers, and just understanding the struggle and understanding we made progress, but we have yet a ways to go.
So how did Bakari's dad influence him?
Well, one of the things that Cleveland Sellers said in regards to his son, and I really appreciated this, Whitney, he said that he raised his son to be socially conscious. That's a powerful word, social consciousness, because many parents today don't really take the time to teach their kids about what's going on in the world. The other thing that I appreciated about the conversation I had with Mr. Sellers was he called Bakari, and it's a beautiful term, he called him an old spirit, an old black Southern spirit. And when I told Bakari what his dad said in regards to him, this is what he had to say.
I always knew my dad to be exceptional. Everyone doesn't get to grow up with a civil rights hero in their family, and so I always knew him to be exceptional. And so I judge my life based on whether or not I can be half the man he is. If I reach that level of about 50% of who he is, then I think my life would be a success. And I am a child of the civil rights movement. What you realize is that not many African Americans participate in the civil rights movement, although you go and you meet a 60 or 70-year-old man today and they all want to tell you about how they fought for civil rights. 9 times out of 10, they weren't there. Not many people decided to give themselves for that cause. But I'll carry that burden with me, that challenge with me. And I watch that there is a new civil rights generation that's growing right now. There are new tasks, new challenges. And we'll get there. We'll get there one day.
Okay, so what schools did Bakari attend growing up?
Well, Bakari, as you know, had an extensive education, and he was a very bright child. He even attended Morehouse College when he was 16 years old.
But Morehouse is more than Dr. King. I mean, Morehouse is Benjamin Mays, who is the greatest educator of all time. It's Julian Bond. It's Spike Lee. It's Samuel L. Jackson. It's the list goes on and on and on and on. I mean, they're Dr. David Satcher, former Surgeon General of the United States. I mean, you can think about all the people, all the greats who've graduated from Morehouse College, whether or not it's athletics or science or art, entertainment, politics. And it was a place that placed the crown above my head for which me to kind of grow and achieve that.
So what did Bakari have to say about his success?
He was very humble with his answer in regards to success. I asked him about being the youngest elected official at the age of 22. Time magazine named him 40 under 40 in 2010, 2014, 2015. You know, he's a successful attorney with Shaw Law Firm, and he also is a political analyst on CNN. And when I asked him about his success, this is the answer that he gave me.
I feel pretty disappointed. And you know, I guess whatever success or accomplishments people may deem that I've had so far. I mean, I'm 32 years old, and I just think that, you know, we're still not free. You know, people still don't have access to quality health care. People still go to schools that are falling apart. African Americans still have a higher disposition of having preventable illnesses. Infant mortality rates amongst African Americans is extremely high. Black kids are getting killed in the street by law enforcement all the time. So I'm still really disappointed about how far we've come, and it's my challenge every day to make sure that one day we can be free.
So I remember a while back hearing about Bakari being on a reality show. Did you ask him more about that?
You know what, Whitney? I did have a chance to ask him about being on a reality show, and he kind of smiled and laughed when I asked him about that. But he gave me a great answer and his experience with being on reality television.
I was being a supportive boyfriend at the time, and fiance, and now spouse. It was something my wife wanted to do and believed in it, and it turned out to be something that expanded all of our horizons, and I enjoyed it. I think I'm the only person in probably history to go from signing a reality TV contract to a contract with CNN in the same year. But it just showed some versatility, and there's so many people who watched that show that never have seen CNN, so it was fun. It was fun. I don't know if I'll do it again, but it was fun.
You know, Whitney, it was my pleasure to interview Bakari Sellers. I really appreciated him taking time out of his busy schedule to allow us to see a different side of him. And this is how the interview concluded. Okay. Well, the last thing that I want to read to you is what John Sylvanus said about you. This is when you gave the Founders Day convocation speech, and you also received the Presidential Award of Distinction. He said, I have rarely given the Presidential Award of Distinction, adding that few have been exemplars of all 5 of the college values: acuity, agency, integrity, brotherhood, and leading a consequential life. At this moment and this time, I have such a man. Yet Sellers says his work is not done. There is still a crown above me. My head is still bare. I still have inches to grow and work to do. So, Bakari, what's next? What does the future hold for you? Do you still have much work to do?
I don't know the answer to that question. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe you or somebody watching can let me know when Jim Clyburn retires, and we'll see.
Whitney, I just want to thank you again for being my co-host today on Pecan Pie. So let me ask you a question. How was it?
It was easy as pie. I'm Whitney Vansell.
And I'm Michelle Thompson, and we'll see you next time.